Well, good evening. My name is Rob Rogers. 10 years ago, we had a dream to create a place where young men could discover a life that truly mattered. And tonight we celebrate how God has made that dream a reality. Since 2004, over 250 young men have come to the Narrowgate Lodge in search of meaning and purpose in life. Our graduates go on to become college students and missionaries and businessmen and husbands and fathers, and some even pastors like myself. My wife and I raise our 3 children in Bellingham, Washington, where we've planted a church where churches aren't necessarily the norm. But at the age of 19, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee to be with my best friend, Adam Stoner. And at the time, my life was a complete wreck. It was aimless, pointless. I was a heroin and crack addict and didn't even believe that God existed. But God saw my mess of a life and claimed me as his mess. He had a beautiful plan for my life that's been unfolding for the past 10 years and continues to unfold every single day. But it was in a humble home in the woods of Tennessee where I discovered Jesus and his plan for my life. Through Adam, I met a couple named Bill and Stacy Spencer. And we asked them to help us to create this place where young men could find purpose and meaning in life. The only problem was we had no idea what we were asking for. Adam had a better idea than I did. Adam was raised in a Christian home, but that's not really my story. I had 2 amazing parents, and they did a phenomenal job teaching me that good morals and good choices and care and concern for others was the right path in life. They taught me right from wrong from the world's perspective, but I'd never cracked open a Bible in my life. I'd never worshiped God. That's just not who we were. So when Bill and Stacy said that Jesus would have to be at the center of every decision that we made or this thing wouldn't work, I just sort of went along with it because I didn't want them to back out. Little did I know, we were essentially inviting them to preach the gospel to us. And you've got to know, you don't invite Bill and Stacy Spencer to preach the gospel to you unless you really want to hear the gospel. So over the next 4 weeks, we began to read, and we studied, and we talked. We talked about how God wired our brains to learn and that he's gifted us uniquely and differently and that there's value in that. We talked about failure and forgiveness. We talked about how God built into our hearts this desire for something so much grander and greater than this world could ever offer. And that led us to the discussion that really mattered. We talked about Jesus. And on April 14th of 2004, I asked a question that changed everything. What do I have to do to be a Christian? And on that night, I received a brand new life in Jesus Christ, and the Narrowgate sprang into life. God so radically transformed my life that over the span of the next year, everyone in my immediate family had given their lives to Jesus Christ and invited him into the day-to-day details of their lives. See, looking back at 19 years old, I had no idea who God was. All I knew was that if I stayed on the path that I was on, I was going to land myself in prison or potentially much, much worse. And as I hit bottom, I heard about this new life that Jesus offers to anyone and everyone who place their trust and their faith in him. And God's Spirit drew me to do exactly that. Bill and Stacy taught me about my new identity in Christ. They taught me about God's amazing and matchless grace. And they introduced me to the one person where true meaning and true purpose is found. See, this was just the beginning of a journey, of a dream that God made a reality, not just for me, but for so many other young men who have found true meaning and true purpose in their journey through the narrow gate.